The Ottomans nearing the height of their power, suffering defeats in the west against Hungary and their legendary Black Army. The east also looks troublesome. The Battle of Chaldiran against the Safavid Empire will be a turning point in the rise or fall of the Ottoman Empire. Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Jackie Fish and welcome back to some more Medieval Kingdoms 1212 AD. Today we have an absolutely humongous battle, a historical engagement, and these are two factions we necessarily don't see that often on the battlefield, so I cannot wait to see what both sides can bring. Well, maybe we do see the Ottomans a fair amount, but we don't necessarily see the Safavids, or I can't remember what exactly the faction is called that is playing as the Safavids in this one. But yeah, it's going to be legendary. So make sure you guys are sitting comfortably and we'll take a look at what both sides are bringing. So historically, the Ottomans had around about 60 to 100,000. That is what the Wikipedia article said that I was reading. And the Safavids had around about, I think, 60 to 80,000, or maybe it was a little bit less than that. The Ottomans also had heavy in place guns. They had around about 100 to 150 cannons and 100 mortars, whereas the Safavids had nothing of the sort. So obviously, as you can tell, the Ottomans are already in a pretty healthy situation. I mean, imagine going up against a heavily, fortified cannon formation. Like, oh my god, it must have been absolutely deafening to hear them guns go off and rain, hellfire down on your position. But as you can see, the Ottomans are set up in a three-pronged assault. They've got three players there, all ready to, throw themselves forward. Obviously, we have the elite front lines of the Ottomans, which are going to be pretty scary, honestly. They're going to be able to get stuck in, and I believe these models have actually recently been updated as well. The 1212 team always doing a great job of improving the artwork 24/7. I also love the cavalry as well, the Sultan's horses, heavily in chainmail, but still keeping that Ottoman aesthetic with the overcoats and head piece, which is always really, really nice. So they're going to be looking very scary. I believe as well, for balancing reasons, I don't have cannons in or artillery in or mortars in this battle, because they're very, very strong, and if one side has them, that does kind of hurt the compatibility or the compatibility of this. But they do have guns. They do have the Janissaries, I think the Ottoman rifles are called. I can't even remember. But they do have a bunch of guns set up along their battle line, so that will be definitely causing some havoc throughout the engagement. They also as well have on the front line, just have some some very, very, very colourful archers ready to take down the enemy, like so. But if we take a look at the other side of the battlefield, you can see again some of these awesome Persian looking units. Very, very nice stuff. I always love the Eastern armies because they're so colourful. They definitely do speak volumes to the just the lavishness the East did have around this period. You can also see some more bowmen set up. But the unit I'm most looking forward to is definitely going to be these elephants right here. I believe each player does have an elephant, much like each Ottoman player does have a cannon, or has a set of guns. So it's going to make for a very, very interesting battle. I also believe as well that the 1212 team do actually have working cannon elephants that are coming in the next patch, which, if you're interested, I was told they had to bring back the release date from mid-July of the massive new update, and they're looking for hopefully mid-September for the new update, with a massive campaign overhaul coming in around there. There was just too many bugs and issues and script things they needed to work on, especially their big database issue they had. So it is coming, probably mid-September, I think is their plan. I also absolutely love this unit of horses. Oh my god, these guys are amazing. Absolutely spectacular. Look at that. Oh, that looks really, really good. Yeah, this unit of cavalry is going to go ham. So I was also told by the players as well that they are going to be using the larger battlefield mod in the next replay they do for the channel, which is super exciting. It's something I've been asking for a long time. I believe 1212 themselves are going to be adding in the larger battlefield mod just innately into the mod, which is great news. But yeah, they will be, it's basically expanding these borders, I assume all the way out, I'm pretty sure is what the mod does. So it will give these huge battles much more fluidity, because everyone won't be clumped up. Players can spread out more. You can have these situations where you actually do end up, creating cool scenarios where maybe one, you can have these huge battles, but you can have like one player segregated by himself, surrounded by two, enemies and like what you can just kind of create some really cool scenarios. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And obviously massive shout out to Cassius and everyone else who played in this battle. I really appreciate it. I definitely take a bit too long to do these battles when he sends them to me, but they're always absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to see the scenarios and the battles he's going to do with the larger battlefield mod, because it's going to hopefully give them way more room to commit to the battle. So we are going to get in some of the Safavid Empire archers being thrown forward and ready to volley in on their opponents. The battle is definitely going to come down to these flanks. The center never normally crumbles before the flanks do, because players end up, reinforcing by wrapping infantry around and basically pushing out this formation. You can already see right here that we do have a line kind of almost overlapping with the center here, so that they can help out in that engagement, and the cavalry roaming around. Again, another thing when they use the larger battlefield mod, like you won't have this red line here, so the cavalry won't be so clumped in. I'm very interested to see how the elephants perform in this one though, as they're going to be able to rip through the horses, I imagine. In Rome Total War, elephants do an amazing job at killing cavalry, and I imagine it's the same in Attila as well and in 1212. I mean, my god, look at that battle line right there. That is tasty. That really, really is. As both sides do get ever so close to one another. I mean, just look at that. Oh my god, the first archer volley is coming in right now. If we just slow up the camera a little bit and just go down that battle line. Oh, that is insane. That's actually pretty crazy. Now the music's kicking in as well. Man, 1212 is just an amazing mod. I mean, we kind of have to go a little bit faster than this because I don't want to miss any of the action. We are now seeing archer volleys be coming off. And I love this when players do this. They kind of send like a little vanguard force of spearmen forward to basically disrupt the enemy line, throw back their archers, or force the infantry forward. Because by having spears here, you also do an amazing job of cutting any cavalry. Too often what happens in these battles, if we go on slow-mo really quickly, is that the player sends this cavalry out to harass the archers, and then they have so much room in the center. The archers have to turn around and run away and get kind of to the safety. That by having this spear line right here, you're basically cutting off all the extra space that this unit of cavalry does have, and then they can't move in and actually cause any issues. So really nice high quality play there by the players. Really, really nice stuff. And again, we can go on normal speed now as infantry lines do push forward. It does seem like the center is going pretty hard, and they want to be careful because they don't want to overextend and find themselves too far away from their allies' battle line, because that could be extremely scary and deadly if they're not too careful. The archer volleys are coming in though. These guys are also doing a pretty good job of absorbing the battle line. It's just causing like disruption. This is weird to have two units of spears so far forward. It's just kind of causing, dysfunctional front lines, almost acting like a chariot unit. Because again, like there are gaps here which these spears could seize. They're obviously going to engage a small part of the Ottomans right here, but I mean, they could just literally run through, or they could outflank the enemy. And I like this play. It's causing some dysfunctional issues along the battle line. However, the guns from the Ottomans are here, and they are volleying off through fire and blood, pouring in onto the enemy infantry as they get closer and closer. And the battle lines are now clashing. We are seeing the Ottoman infantry going toe-to-toe. We are also getting the Ottoman pikemen being sent in to help out here. The hooked pikes going to be a great unit to kind of push through these swords and get engaged. Very, very cool engagement battle lines right there as the archer fire moves up. And yeah, all hell has broken loose. I'm definitely keeping a close eye on the cavalry, but we are getting a nice little outflank right here as the infantry lines are smashing against one another. But we are getting an Ottoman cavalry charge right into the rear of the swordsmen. That's going to be ripping through them and doing some serious damage, and quickly getting to friendly battle lines. That's going to be devastating. And look at the numbers drop. This unit has already lost 50 men, and it's still going 60, 70. Almost lost 63 men off that charge. Wow, that's one of the devastating things. Knights in 1212 are deadly, and we are going to be getting a huge engagement. The diamond formation is going to get ripped into by the Ottomans, flying their wedge formation into the side again. This right flank, or I guess the left flank for the Ottomans, is looking very, very nice. The elite cavalry just smash into one another. 2 stone walls flying into the abyss. However, the Ottomans are being much quicker to deploy their infantry to help out in this fight. The Safavids are moving over, but we could see way more horses being thrown over to his flank to help out. The elephants are being now committed as there is a lull in the music. Don't know why there is a lull in the music, because the engagement is just erupting. And there we go, the Medieval 2 music coming in. And these elephants are just being used to break the enemy line and probably pull onto the archers or the other infantry. Oh yeah, these are the foot archers, aren't they? Yeah, these are the hybrid infantry units that are also archers. So goddamn good. Very expensive, but an amazing unit. And the Ottoman pikes are being brought over to try and reinforce this. We will probably have to go on slow-mo because we're spending way too much time on this left flank, and the battle is just absolutely crazy everywhere else. The center, if we again start the camera a little bit, maybe like start the rotation of the camera. And then start that a little bit more. Yeah, you guys can see the devastating battle that is taking place as the Ottomans are throwing everything they have at the enemy. Historically, this was a pretty decisive victory for the Ottomans. Their superior cannon fire, or their complete dominance of their cannon fire, really did throw the tide of battle in their favor, and the Safavid cavalry couldn't quite get into the back ranks, which was very, very unfortunate for them. However, obviously after the Hungarian victory, as well with the Black Army holding its line against the raids the Ottomans were sending in against them, I'm sure not all the trouble for the Ottomans would be over. So actually a pretty interesting battle field over on this right-hand side, which we haven't really looked at quite yet. We've got a huge cavalry/infantry engagement being thrown down. The infantry trying to aid what they can against the eastern horses. And obviously the heavy armor doing a very, very good, strong power. Coming in with the axemen as well, ripping apart their opponents. Very cool stuff indeed. Cavalry being engaged as well. Oh, also as well, a little bit of a campaign hype. Oh, look at this unit of Persian spears being thrown in as well. A little bit of a campaign hype thing. I was told, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this or not, but hey, spoiler Jackie Fish over here. They have said that they are planning to add in 10 slot buildings for the province system in the campaign when it comes out, when the update comes out in a month or so, or a couple weeks, which is ultra exciting. Really, really cool. Going to be having, like, you can basically, if you put the time and effort into it, you can make these huge cities, which are going to be very exciting. And eventually they say they want to actually make it tied with population as well, rather than growth, which again, so awesome. Population is such an amazing mechanic, it really is. Anyway though, sorry, back to the battle. We are seeing that the front line is really trying to push in, but it seems like the Ottomans are just holding this line very sturdy, and are able to go toe-to-toe with a lot of the Eastern Safavid Empire infantry, and able to push them back. The elephants weren't able to really get stuck in and do as much damage because the pikemen and also the heavy axe infantry as well were immediately into them, able to bring them down bit by bit. The cavalry fight looks like it's being overrun on the right flank, and the Ottomans are looking in a pretty good state as the elephants are running berserk. However, we are getting infantry just being overwhelmed in certain positions. So the Safavids are putting up a very good fight, and they are looking to actually win, some of these engagements. However, these flanks are starting to struggle heavily, and I don't know how much longer they are going to be able to hold as we go back into the fighting. I think both these flanks are going to crumble now. We're already starting to see this unit right there, and the cavalry immediately break through that gap. Infantry supporting them, and then onto the dismounted archers. Now again, these are elite horse archers, so they're going to be able to hold their own, but still it's going to be a struggle. We also have one of the generals taken down. Yeah, one of the Safavid generals that have been killed, and immediately you're seeing the repercussions of that. The infantry are immediately breaking from the field of battle, and the Ottoman cavalry is pouncing on this huge rout. You're getting axemen coming around the flank into the side. of a position. However, one of the Ottoman generals have also broken on this flank. It would seem down to heavy missile fire, which is a little bit scary. But that shouldn't make too much of a difference. We are getting some of the archers though charging in. And this is like one of the things in the late period battles, all the archers, unless you're bringing like lower quality ones, most players bring like just the most elite archers, so they can just double up as an infantry unit. It's really, it really is very useful. That guy just gets his head cut clean off. But as you can see, his left flank has crumbled. However, the Ottoman flank also, there are units here breaking slowly but surely, and the cavalry fight definitely isn't over. I was speaking way too quickly about this cavalry fight because the Persians have committed now more horses to this fight, which is going to be aiding them massively and allowing them to really put pressure back on this army, because if they could free up these whole two units, like if they could free up all of this line, that could be a massive help. But with the breaks going on right here, I imagine we're immediately going to be seeing this flank being wrapped up like so. Unless these can kind of kill the infantry, but I don't think they're going to be able to, especially with this cavalry setup here running amok in the back lines. That's going to be very difficult for them. And as you can see over on this flank, I don't know, it's still a bit of a mess, and I think the Safavids have actually kind of cleaned up this flank pretty nicely. The elephants coming in clutch, not being deployed too early, not being deployed too late, just moving in. And they are actually able to move in and actually kill the Ottoman general with these spears. I love the look of these spears. I'm not going to try and pronounce that because I'm going to butcher it. But they look absolutely amazing. They really do look so awesome. Very cool stuff indeed. And yeah, they're going to be able to rout that unit and actually clean up this flank with the cavalry wrapping around as well. I kind of can't believe how quickly that changed. It looked like the Ottomans were going to be faring so well, but it seems like not being the case. Now we're getting a cavalry charge into the rear of these swords. That has to be enough to break them. When the casualties start to be inflicted, the horses trample on the downed infantry. We'll be seeing them being taken care of, and there we go, boom, just like that. This flank has been won, so it seems like a flank for each player, but the center has been won by the Ottomans. Numbers-wise as well, we are seeing the Ottomans with a fair advantage, over 1,800 men now, so that has to play for something, and the numbers are dropping pretty heavily. I love the circle that these archers have formed up as well. That's kind of cool. Obviously give them some protection against the cavalry who are diving into their formation. We are also seeing so pike on pike action here. And the guns being brought around as well, probably to try and finish off any of the cavalry. And the Ottomans do finally win this cavalry engagement. We have one unit of Safavid cavalry still engaged. But that is a 1v3, and I can't imagine they'll be able to keep this battle in their favor forever. This is unfortunately just not going to be possible for them. And you can already see the center wrapping around to support their allies on the right flank who desperately needed it. Really, really did need it. But yeah, man, I can't wait for them to use the larger battlefield mod. That's going to be awesome. Hopefully this is way more space in between the engagements. You know, so like each engagement is really important. I think that'll be very, very exciting. And hopefully they just add like more dimensions, you know, instead of just like a front line be front line, they could do like some curves and like different formations and, you know, arrowheads, and like have armies placed in weird ways at the start to create just an interesting scenario. You know, maybe just utilize all the terrain around them, like maybe stick one army on the terrain. There's lots of cool stuff they can do with a larger battlefield. We are seeing though the entire Safavid remnants forming up, but there's just not enough left for them whatsoever, and I think they're going to meet their maker very, very soon, honestly. They're forming up, but they've only really got a handful of archers left, a couple infantry units, but with the rest of the infantry line really forming up, I think this battle is closing out. We will be watching every single engagement until victory is held, because you never know. You never know Also, as well, probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, my Discord is revamped. We went through a kind of a big process of redoing a ton of the roles. We redid a bunch of the chat rooms and stuff. It's way more active now, and we are going to be regularly hosting battles on the Discord. So make sure you join. Make sure you assign yourself a role. It's really simple and explained. So make sure you assign yourself a role so you can get notified whether you want to know about one of the battles being hosted or whatever. Make sure you join. We're going to be hosting way more battles, scenarios, vanilla, modded gameplay. It's going to be really, really fun. So make sure you jump in on the Discord and yeah, get active and get talking. There's going to be hopefully maybe even some tournaments as well we can host off, which will be very, very cool as well. So yeah, make sure you become a part of that. Also, if you are interested as well, I have a really cool, this battle is wrapping up, I have a discounted code for Crusader Kings 3, obviously, with Crusader Kings 3 around the corner, and we're playing 12-12. I have a 15% off code if you use my code. I'll leave it in the description. I highly recommend you go and grab the game from Games Planet. They're always very, very, convenient whenever I use them. They get their keys legitimately, so go check them out. And yeah, use my code, use my link in the description. It really helps out the channel. And yeah, who's hyped for Crusader Kings 3? Because I know I am. I cannot wait for that. We're going to be doing that a ton on the channel. Lots of cool battles. But speaking of cool battles, we have the final moments of the Safavid Empire at this engagement, and there weren't really any proper figures for casualties when it came to the Ottoman victory. It said that both sides did take heavy casualties, but the heavy casualties of the Ottomans on Wikipedia were like 2,000 to 3,000, which I don't know, I don't really class that as heavy casualties. Maybe it is for the period, but considering they deployed around 60,000 men, that doesn't really sound like that much, losing like a couple percent. But then again, I guess that was how battle, the average battle, you did only lose like 5% of your army. So I guess that does make sense. Yeah, so I guess it does kind of work out. And the Safavids, I believe, lost around about 5,000 men out of their 40 to 60,000. So definitely did, instate Ottoman rule in the area. And a very cool battle. Again, I love these Eastern battles because it's something that I'm not very knowledgeable on. So it's great, when they do send in these battles, I can research it a bit and find out more about, this area and this time period. Because again, like 1500s, like I don't really, yeah, 1514 was when this battle was. I don't really know too much about like Eastern history at that time. Obviously, I know, a fair amount about the Ottomans, but, still, it's definitely not one of my strongest topics. So it's always great kind of finding out more about these battles. Also as well, whenever I get one of these battles, I immediately search into YouTube and click on a Kings and Generals video, and I'm like, oh good, everything I need to know about the period. Great. Shout out to Kings and Generals. Also, big shout out to Malay Archer, who works with them, who lets me use his screenshots for the thumbnail as well. So cool. If you take a look at the kills, that was obviously a Pyrrhic victory for the Ottomans, but I think they still had plenty left. Like, they had a very, very, this army only lost around about 900 men. Like, that's not bad. Whereas the other side did take heavy casualties with the bottom player right here taking an absolute massacre, losing over 2,000 men, or just under, literally 2 men under 2,000. You guys want to take a look at the kills? You can see that the heavy axe infantry over 350 kills, absolutely brutal, and the cavalry 550 kills. Insane stuff right there. I mean, it's to be expected, right? The cavalry is always dominant unit. The elephants actually did do pretty good, though. 200 kills on that one, only 61 on this one, and then finally 140 on that unit as well. So that's unfortunate. And again, the cavalry, the lancers, proving their worth and getting stuck in as well, along with the pikes as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that battle. Do make sure to drop a like and a comment if you did. Make sure you also let me know if you want to see more intros like I did, just kind of like small cinematic bits to kind of spice up the beginning of a video. Let me know if you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys in the next one.